To one offset to another, talk to me about this awesome Jazzmaster. I almost called it the Jaguar, but the Jazzmaster.
Yeah, it's a Jazzmaster.
The Gojira.
Yep. So it's Godzilla, I call it. I got this guitar brand new in 2012. And I didn't relic it or anything. It just looks like this because it's been through it. But it originally was black, still the same black color, but it had a tortoise guard.
Okay.
Obviously, two of the Jazzmaster kind of soap bar pickups. And then I just, over time, went to town with it.
Yeah, clearly.
So, first thing I kind of started doing was, obviously a lot of people know this about the Jazzmaster, you change out the bridge. So I put a mastery bridge on there. And, you know, I can do anything to this guitar, and it stays pretty much in tune. I put 11s on it, so it's very sturdy.
Okay.
And that was kind of the standard for Jazzmasters when they first came out, were heavier strings. So it sits well. And then I put the green anodized guard on it. I went through a couple different guards. I had a black guard, but the green, obviously, I'm a big fan of green.
Yeah, so you're green guy.
Yeah. And then I did the red volume knob because when I saw Van Halen's last show at the Hollywood Bowl, he had the Wolfgang with the red kill switch. And I was like, that red dot just looks so cool on his guitar. And I put the red volume knob, and I was like, you know what? I think it was like a Nintendo 64 vibe or something. I was like, I'm gonna put a blue knob for the tone knob, and then the big one, the big move that still makes me nervous was I put a PAF in it.
Now,
and
where did that come from?
So this PAF came from an old L5 that came through Norm's. Now, before everybody freaks out, the guitar originated with no pickups. Okay. So I knew that somebody passed, it was like what we call a player grade guitar. So, but this was even lower than that. It was pretty beat up. And it really didn't play, but we did know it had two PAFs in it. And I just kept hearing them on Guitar of the Day through my board. I'd be playing through like a Blackface Super Reverb, and I'm like, man, these PAFs, there's something about them. So my friend Joel Whitehead, who worked at Norman's, he does great work and has his own acoustic guitars that he builds, and he helped me pot it and put it in there, and it just sounds amazing. And yeah, I never looked back, but I mean, for sure, people think it's a little wild, but I just couldn't get that same texture I got out of this old humbucker. And then last but not least, really, I mean, there's always stuff, but this is a pick I got from Eddie Van Halen when I met him. And,
yeah, could you tell that story? Because I know the video that you mentioned it in. Could you tell that story?
Yeah.
That's such a random occurrence.
It is random, and it made me believe in things.
Yeah.
It's that random and like the stars aligning.
Yeah.
So, first of all, when I was a kid, I used to cry about Eddie Van Halen because this is when, like, rap was mega. 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying was out, all that stuff. And all my friends were like, Van Halen is not cool. and I'm like, oh man, well, like I have a useless gift. like no one wants to hear this stuff. And I used to get so upset, but I was obsessed. And then even when you go to the mall, you'd see Zeppelin, you'd see all these stuff, but not as much Van Halen stuff. And I just couldn't figure it out. I was obsessed. And sure enough, after all that yearning, he was on tour. This was 2004 with Sammy Hagar, the first tour back. And he was dating my friend's mom. And
Stacy's mom?
Yeah, Stacy's mom's got it going on. And actually, it was my good friend Ryan Crosley. And he was new to the town, too. He just moved in. And yeah, his mother hit it off with Eddie, and I went to the house. It was just a townhouse, and actually, ironically, in a town called Holland, because he's from Holland overseas, but this was Holland, Pennsylvania.
If it ain't Dutch, it ain't much.
Yeah.
We learned that one from Adrian Vandenberg.
That's good. Yeah, so it was Holland and Pennsylvania, and my friend Terry, my best friend from as a child, goes, man, you're not going to believe this, on the phone. And I'm like, okay, you know. And he's like, Eddie Van Halen's at our friend Ryan's house right now, and he's seen him. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I was just over there, hanging out with him. I'm like, dude, you know I have to go over there. And it was kind of like a couple days of unknown because he was moving around a lot and stuff. And sure enough, I went over there, hung out with him for 2 hours, and he was so cool. He was just such a kind guy. Obviously going through a lot at that time, but still took the time to spend with me and really talk about guitars. I brought a Wolfgang and a Kramer.
Oh, so you went full.
Oh, I was in. I was in.
I didn't know if you were going to ease into it. You went.
No, I went in, and he knew it right away. He knew it, and he just loved it. And it was so funny because like there was guys like his age, like, Ed, I saw you back in the day. He's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I guess
and
I
dealing
get
with
that.
me,
Yeah.
and he loved it. And I
Yeah.
was just like, wow. So it was just a special moment, and it's funny because that was all the way back in Pennsylvania, and I've been in LA, you know, while he was still around for all those years, and never ran into him again. So it was just a meeting of the minds and a crazy moment. Especially, I was a freshman in high school. I was about like 14 years old,
Yeah.
so it was just out of this world. And I'll never forget my mom picking us up, and she's like, "Hi, Eddie," and we get back in the van, and we're like, "Bye." And I'm like, "What just happened?" And definitely one of the highlights of my life.
That's awesome, man. I don't know how to segue out of that, but can we have you play a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Show us the different sounds that this thing can do.
Sure. We'll start off clean.
Okay.
So I kind of like a longer reverb. I use this context, but it's got like a pretty, I love neck pickup on Jazzmasters. They always have a beautiful sound. So like. But they got a big bass end and nice highs, so. Of course, I love the bar.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when I put the humbucker in, that's when I get kind of my more rock sound. So check it out. It's gonna be loud, but check it out. The Jazzmaster, you can do all types of cool.
Yeah.
You know, I love going behind the bridge. You can do like kill switch. Bunch of tricks you can do with it.
Now, with the rhythm circuit being kind of native to the instrument, how's that work with the PAF? Has that kind of been wired out?
Yeah, it's just working with the neck pickup. Yeah, nothing going on there. But I do get a nice sound in between too. It's kind of different, kind of maybe like a Tele Custom almost, because you remember you have the humbucker and the single coil, so it's kind of a different sound. You get a little bit more. Let's see here. Like organic. So it's good.
Yeah, yeah. It's creamy.
Yeah.